So the other day, my co-op was doing some Blade Slayers, and he showed me this thing right here. The high-class Archfiend dice, a tier 4 Inferno Demon Lord drop. If you have been playing Skyblock for some time, you probably heard of Skyblock gambling. Now, I don't trust gambling. Not at all. Gambling is probably the riskiest decision one can ever make, and it is not good for money. Let me just read the description. High-class Archfiend dice, straight from Kickback City. Ability, try your luck, right-click. Cost 6.7 million coins to roll between 1 to 6. Gain between minus 300 HP and plus 300 HP for 24 hours. Overwritten by new rolls. That's not the point. The thing is here, if you roll a 6, earn 100 million coins but lose this dice. Heavy in the hand, could someone have tampered with it? Clearly, this is not a fair dice. The Skyblock wiki made it clear that it is not a worthy investment. The dice has a 1 in 16 chance to roll a 6 that gives the roller 100 million coins and a 1 in 666 chance to roll 7 for an Archfiend die that is currently worth 90 million on the auction as of the day of checking. The wiki even states clearly that on average the roller loses 350k coins per roll. This dice is absolutely rigged. So surely with all these information, no rational person is gonna gamble with this, right? Wrong. Just according to Conflict, this thing has a whopping 200 average buy volume per day. Even my co-op tells me that those dice can sell within minutes of auctioning them. This just brings a lot of questions. Why are people gambling knowing that the dice is rigged? Sure. You hear every day that gambling is bad, gambling is a straight up loss, gambling is addictive, but we don't usually think about why so many people still likes to gamble. What is it in their mindset that makes them want to continue to gamble? Day after day, I think about this question, hardly focusing on my Skyblock progression, and after so many hours, I think I've cracked the code. Or partially at least. So now I present to you what I like to call it, the dice paradox. For any gambling question, we can state some of the conditions. The gambling device, which is our dice right here, A, has an overall average loss / negative gain, B, a small probability for the large rewards, C, a cost when initializing the gamble, and D, a continuous urge to keep gambling with the dice to get the ultimate prize. So here we can clarify our question into why do people have the continuous urge to keep gambling knowing that it could result in negative average gain? Imagine this, you have rolled the dice for 10 times in a row and did not get a 6. Devastated, you roll the dice one more time, thinking that I have rolled so many times without a 6, surely this means my next roll would be more likely to be a 6, right? Of course, a probability of an event occurring would not change just because one believes it would change. The chances of rolling a 6 would always remain 1 in 16 regardless of how many times you roll the dice. However, this is when our psychological bias kicks in. This way of thinking is called the gambler's fallacy. It states that we individuals tend to misjudge whether an event is independent of others or not. Independency means that the chances of one event occurring would not affect the probability of another event happening. Here, it emphasizes that we tend to wrongly conclude that the outcome of the next event will be the opposite of all the preceding events. So what does this mean here? It means that if you have rolled 50 times and did not get a 6, you would think that the next roll would have a higher chance of being a 6, which is not true, but that's what it keeps you rolling. But then there's another question. Wouldn't the cost of rolling the dice stop people from continue rolling? 6.6 million coins really isn't a small amount, and to be wasted on something that guarantees loss is really not worth it in any sense. But apparently the human mind works much more complicated than my simple assumption. We as humans can get easily emotionally attached to anything that we devoted resources to, and in this case, spending coins to roll the dice. After there's money invested into the dice, it is extremely difficult to simply just stop because a possible mindset is like, I already spent money on the dice and my money would be wasted if I didn't get the 100 mil. And what does this lead to? More money spent, more more dice is rolled. In technical terms, this is called the sunk cost fallacy. A sunk cost is a cost that is already committed and cannot be recovered through additional investments. Here, the money that was spent rolling the dice is the sunk cost. By rolling the dice, you are like a business that tries to spend more money to reverse the previous losses, but it's a mistake that is commonly made that would lead just to more loss. But really, thinking this way isn't anyone's fault. It's straight up built within our biological tendencies. Researchers from the University of California, San Diego discovered the sunk cost fallacy having effects on pigeons as well as humans. So why do we think this way then? Psychological reasons state that people don't like losses and are in fact loss averse. But in fact, this application could be strange, but people in fact don't prefer guaranteed loss, so they will do anything they can to reverse that guaranteed loss. Say you roll the dice for 10 times, costing you 66 million without getting a 6. You're guaranteed to lose 66 mil. But people like to try their luck and would think that if the next roll is a 6, which people hope for, it would mean they gained 27.4 mil. This is why there's a tendency to keep rolling the dice even knowing the high costs involved. Our explanation doesn't really end here. I'm sure that you have seen videos like, I gambled 2 billion coins for this. I gambled to a Hyperion. Seeing others' success is painful. It definitely is, and whenever I see someone succeed, I want to try their methods too. The more success one sees, the more likely one is going to follow that example, and in our case, is to gamble. This is called the Bandwagon Effect, and the name of course comes from the famous phrase, jump into the bandwagon, aka following what other people are doing. My last explanation might seem a weird one. You are spending money to buy happiness. Sure, the money is lost during this gambling, but there is excitement and anticipation with every single roll. The adrenaline rush, the beating heart for the roll, the feeling of excitement for the prize, and the happiness of sharing with friends of the success are all just what you bought through your gambling investment. In other words, this is not a loss. This is probably a gain. We say money cannot buy happiness, but in the case of a simple block game where coins are spent, it definitely can. Even though you lost coins in financial terms, Skyblock financial terms, you gained the happiness and exhilaration in the process. And in the case of a simple block game, happiness is the ultimate goal. This is the end of this video of a simple analysis of a dice gambler's thought process, but it is by no means the end of the story. In my next video, I'm going to explain the special case of the 1 in 666 chance of rolling an Archfiend die, which is commonly known as the jackpot, and how this extremely rare item affects the stimulus of a gambler. So if you want to know more about fun Skyblock economic theories in the future, make sure to subscribe and leave a like. It means a lot, and I will see you all the next time.